Good morning, hello, welcome back everybody, welcome to Thursday's meditation. So today we're going to be working with Vipassana meditation, which is an ancient practice that's coming out of India, and I'm really pleased to be sharing this with you today because Vipassana is actually the first meditation style that I did. It was a little bit of a baptism of fire. You might hear people talking about Vipassana retreats. You can go on 10-day Vipassana retreats. But essentially what Vipassana does is it's a way of harnessing our attention, a way for us to free our minds up and to experience really viscerally and quite kinetically how things are always changing, how things are always in flux. And we do that by observing the sensations in our body, and we just observe the nature of those sensations and just learn to observe and really appreciate and understand that inherently and intrinsically and inevitably things are going to change. So the practice of Vipassana meditation is really a practice of cultivating a non-attachment to things. And so the idea of Vipassana is really to sort of look at things and see things for how they are, not how we would like them to be. And it just completely changes our outlook on life. It changes how we frame things, how we just approach things. And I really encourage you, if you are at all interested in deepening your practice with meditation, we're going to do a little taster of Vipassana meditation today. But there are, you can go and do a Vipassana retreat for free. It's offered on what's called a Dharma principle. So it's kind of this idea that if you can afford to donate, then you pay, but you're not really paying for yourself. You're paying it forwards so that somebody else can get the benefit of the practice, which is a wonderful sort of circular economy, as it were. So you can go on their website and you can find retreats all over the world. There are 2 retreat centres in the UK. But yeah, it really is this practice of just learning non-attachment and observing the nature of sensations within our body. So what we're going to do is for a short while we're going to just focus inwards, and we're going to focus on the sensations that come up in our body. And what we're going to notice, or what you will notice, is that these sensations will rise and then they'll fall away. The sensations or the thoughts will rise and then they will fall away. So it just helps us to observe the nature not only of our bodies, but inherently and intrinsically the nature of life itself. And with the seasons changing at the moment, I'm wearing a scarf today and it's dark when I wake up in the morning. It's a really nice timely reminder actually that when you look at the seasons, the seasons are always changing. There's nothing we can do about that. So you might really, really love summer, but it always turns into autumn, and autumn always turns into winter. So with this practice of non-attachment, it's really just recognizing that this is how things are, and there's not really much that we can do about that. So with more ease that we get of learning to let go of holding on to how we want things to be. Morning, whoever that is. So yeah, we learn to just let go of this attachment, and we learn to accept things for how they are. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is just learning a little bit about how to free up our minds, to shift our focus and bring our attention into our bodies, and just really learn to observe the nature of sensations, the nature of what's going on in our bodies, in order to train our minds to focus our attention and to learn this basic principle that everything changes. This tattoo actually here is the Sanskrit word anicca, which basically means seeing things for how they are, not how you would like them to be. So it is this practice of non-attachment. So what I'd like you to do is just to come into a nice comfortable seated position, nice cross-legged position on the floor. And just a few pointers on your meditation position. So you want to have your hips slightly higher than your knees. So you can have maybe a cushion or a block just underneath your bum to just lift your hips up slightly. That's really good. And then in terms of, you can just choose a hand position that's comfortable for you. So I like to rest my right hand in my left, and I close the loop by touching my thumbs like so. But you could also interlace your fingers and just have the index fingers pointing out and just resting that in your lap. You can also have the first finger and thumb touching, and you can rest that face down on your knees, or you can have them face up on your knees. There's lots of different hand positions. They're called mudras, and the deeper science of it is that there's sort of energetics based on how you're placing your hands, but sometimes it just comes down to intuition. So whatever is most comfortable for you. If you place your hands face down like so, it can be more grounding. If you have them face up, then you can be in more receptive. You'll be there to receive the energy. So I just want you to relax your shoulders, and if you haven't already, just gently closing your eyes. And as you do so, just spinning the eyes backwards, just gazing down the throat towards the heart, and just coming into this place of stillness. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, and let it out through the mouth. And again, nice deep breath in through the nose. Allowing your shoulders to soften just a little bit more. Inhale through the nose. And out through the mouth. Just make a commitment to yourself to cultivate stillness. So even during our practice today, even if maybe you feel like you want to shift or move, just invite you to take just a couple of breaths before you do so. Just notice the urge. Just stay still, and even still after a few breaths you still want to move, you can do so, but just coming back to stillness. In doing this, we are shifting into a more conscious awareness. So we're not just reacting, you're actually really choosing whether you want to move or not. Okay, so what I want you to do is just start by noticing the breath. Specifically, just noticing the breath coming in and out through your nose. Just really subtle. It moves in and out of its own accord. Just becoming more and more refined with the thread of the breath. So a nice smooth inflow and just smoothly transitioning to your outflow, just cultivating a bit more of like a silken smooth quality in your breath. And just noticing maybe if there's anywhere else in your body that you can relax as you just start to soften into the breath. Just start by placing the breath at the tip of your nose and just observing the breath rolling in and out of the nostrils, just observing any sensations, any temperature, sound. Maybe noticing just how easily the mind jumps around. Just notice how easily the mind jumps away from the breath. And just quickly and gently just bring your attention back to the space between the nostrils and the upper lip. Just breathing in and out. Just notice what you notice. The sensations, the temperature, the sound. just bringing your attention to one area of your body that you're noticing or that you're feeling. Maybe there's a tension, perhaps a knot or a tightness, maybe an old injury. Just bringing your attention to this area. I want you to draw an imaginary circle around this place, this tissue where you're feeling the sensation. And without trying to indulge it or push it away, I just want you to observe. Just for a moment, just observe maybe the sensations of it, the temperature. So is it a hot sensation, a cold sensation? Is there maybe a throbbing or a pulsing? Just observe the nature of this sensation, this area. Not trying to label it as good or bad. Just observing the nature of the sensations that you're experiencing. Maybe it has a colour, a texture. Can you feel it? Can you see it? Try and use all your senses. I want you to do is, staying in this area, I want you to begin to thread your breath through this area, this knot. So as you inhale, you can draw the breath from the front of the body to the back of the body. Literally just imagine like you have a needle and thread, and that you're threading your breath through this area like a thread of breath. As you exhale, it goes back through the other direction. So inhale from the front of the body to the back of the body, and exhale back through the other direction. And then just continue just to perforate and penetrate this whole area that you have circled. Just breathing in and out like a needle and thread, weaving the breath through this entire three-dimensional tissue. Just inhaling one direction and exhaling the other. So you're simply just observing the sensation. Maybe you can feel it more densely in one area than another. Just breathing into that feeling. Just perforating and penetrating that area with your breath. Feeling into it. Feel the texture, feel the temperature. Maybe see the colours. Just weave that breath in and out. Again, just bringing the mind back to the sensation, back to the breath. You're weaving in and out of this area, of this sensation. And again, just noticing the erratic wild horse of the mind. How it can jump to a new sensation or a thought. And just tethering your attention to this moment by focusing on the sensation that are arising in this area, and just observe. Lastly, I just want you to simply observe with open awareness, just opening up your observation now to your whole body, just noticing any other sensations in your body without needing to label them or push them away or indulge them, just simply a wider awareness of any sensations that are arising in the body. And just taking a moment now to just notice if those sensations, just observing how those sensations may have changed, may have risen up and driven and dropped away. Maybe you had a little itch on your forehead or on your cheek. Maybe even the sensation or the knot that you were breathing in and out of has softened slightly. Maybe you can feel the temperature on your skin has warmed. Just with this open awareness, just being aware of any subtle changes that may have occurred in your body. As we observe this changing nature of our own bodies, we intrinsically learn to understand the changing nature of the world around us. And we start to understand on a visceral level the principle of non-attachment, and that everything changes, and to not have any attachments to one thing or another, but just simply to learn to cultivate a spaciousness that allows us to see things for how they really are, and not fighting for how we would like things to be. Just last few breaths here. And gently just bring your hands together at your heart, bowing in gratitude to yourself, the one that brought you here to do this practice today, to cultivate this awareness, to go within, and to really start to understand the nature of all things. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really, really encourage you to return to practices like Vipassana meditation, because it truly is such a great training ground for training our attention and for understanding the nature of life itself. And the more we can cultivate this very simply elegant practice of just letting go and learning to accept things for how they are, the more we can navigate these waters and just move about our lives in a more liberated existence. So thank you so much for joining me again today, and I look forward to our meditation next Tuesday. But love, light and blessings, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Namaste.